These are extraordinary times. People across the world are facing unprecedented restrictions in response to the public health crisis. Many businesses and public facilities have been closed for months. Lawmakers, government officials, businesses, and individuals are looking for solutions. And privacy protections have become an essential element of our collective response to the pandemic. As states begin to lift the stay-at-home orders, public health authorities and private businesses are expanding the collection of personal data. Several states have already created smartphone apps that collect location data and alert individuals about potential exposure to COVID-19. Government and private sector groups have proposed different systems to facilitate digital, contact tracing, and automated exposure notification. But experts have questioned the efficacy of these systems. There are risks to privacy, risks of false notification, and risks that low adoption will make these apps ineffective.
These systems are lawful and voluntary. It's important that these systems minimize to the greatest extent possible the collection of personal information. The onus is on all of us to make sure to scrutinize the systems that are put into place, the proposals that are put forward, and to make sure that they are protective of privacy and that we don't, adopt some, new eternal system of perpetual surveillance. I think none of us want to live in that world.
We cannot assume that any system is a silver bullet, and we must ensure that governments protect both public health and privacy. That is why EPIC is advocating for greater privacy protection to ensure that the public health response protects individuals. These systems should be lawful and voluntary. There should be minimal collection of personally identifiable information. The techniques should be robust, scalable, and provable, and they should only be used during the pandemic emergency. EPIC will continue to push for transparency and accountability for governments that deploy new data collection systems. And we will oppose systems that are not justified. We support public officials who recognize that privacy is essential to an effective pandemic response.
Is this whole tracing program is ultimately going to be based on trust, okay? We're going to have to do it in a way that makes people comfortable that they're not giving up some of their privacy and confidentiality because we incorporated an electronic app into the process.
Must also do everything possible to ensure that the epidemic does not lead to a weakening of the democratic foundations on which our civil and political rights and our freedoms rely. Freedom of expression should be preserved, and any restrictions must be strictly proportionate to the legitimate aim of protecting public health. This applies equally to freedom of conscience, freedom of association, and the right to privacy.
Put individual personalized data, identifier information on patients. This is not data that needs to move around. What we need is data, other kinds of data. It's very, very important, and there are concerns through this whole outbreak regarding individual rights versus the rights of the community. It's very, very important. We own our bodies and we own the data about our bodies.